Okay, we're not getting through like a Shalom Bayit panel without addressing the mother-in-law. So we're gonna have our first mother-in-law question. Yes, guys, I'm talking about your mothers. No one in particular, of course. Okay, so the question is, my in-laws, let's make it both ends. My in-laws, we don't want to say the mother-in-law because we don't want to make anyone feel bad. So the wife asks, my in-laws are overly critical and do not treat me kindly or with respect at all. And otherwise we have a good marriage. I love my husband, but I want to cut off my in-laws 100%, and my husband really doesn't want me to. How do we deal with this issue? Let's start with Rabbi Meirov. Probably heard this question before.
Mother-in-laws. That's why we really need Mashiach as soon as possible. That's one of the reasons. But I always ask people before they get married, wouldn't you want it that after the wedding, you could just go with your wife or your husband, go to Disney World, Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh, just get away from your family? But no, we have Sheva Brachot. Every night, you gotta see your mother and your father and your in-laws and your brothers and your uncles, fix your tie, where's your makeup, why'd you do this, every single night for 7 days. Why can't, they were driving me nuts to get married for 25 years. You're finally married and every night you have to see them again. What's the musag, what's the idea behind this very strong custom that we have, where we celebrate Sheva B'chol with family and friends? So one way of understanding it is, you see, if you get married and you go straight to fantasy life, then you're getting the wrong perspective of what marriage is all about. Why are you laughing? You're getting the wrong perspective of what marriage life is all about. Marriage is all about family life. That's how you get married. Boom! Every day you're sitting with the father and the mother and the uncles and the rabbis and the community members. Because we're here to build Klal Yisrael. Marriage is all about building Klal Yisrael. It's not about fake vacations. That's what it's all about. Now, with that being said, there's no such thing as saying, I don't want to see your mother or your father or your brother or your sister. Are there extreme cases where, yes, the separation is needed? Yes, 100%. But it's not for you to decide. You have to get a professional to help you out with this. But in most cases, we take things too hard, a little too much, and we blow things out of proportion. And we must learn how to understand that is her mother, that is his mother, that is her father, that's his father, and we gotta do it for the sake of Shalom Bayit. I'll give you an example. Yosef HaTzadik was in prison for over a decade. For 12 years, could you imagine? It wasn't like some of the prisons you have today where you have, Mincha and Arvit and Shacharit, you have glad kosher food, you have TV, you play basketball. There was a third world country, it was a rat hole. He had nothing. And that's after almost being killed by his own brothers and then sold numerous times. And it's like he did something wrong to be put in prison. He didn't steal money. He wasn't a Meirov that he enjoyed for 25, 30 years. He did nothing. He was innocent. And put in prison as a teenager, and he came out 100% normal. Not just normal. He was a second to the king. He was running the country. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, think about it. He was in the cave for over a decade with his son. He was the most wanted. And he had nothing but some dry fruits and water. Came out 100% normal. He wrote the Zohar Kadosh. How do they pull that off? It's an unbelievable concept that Chachamim teach us. There's a rule that says, Adam nimtza b'makom shemachshavtav nimtzaot. What does that mean? Imagine you have, for example, a Holocaust survivor. And he's at the wedding of his granddaughter. He's at a hall in Brooklyn, and everyone's walking down the chuppah, and as this is happening, he's thinking about what happened to him in Nazi Germany, how he saw some of his relatives, Hashem Yirachim, brutally murdered, and he saw shuls being burnt down. He's at the chuppah, but he's thinking about this. Where is he right now? Is he at the chuppah or he's back in Germany? Because his mind thinking about that, he's really there. Adam nimtza b'makom shemachshavotav nimtzot. You are where your thoughts are. The key of Yosef HaTzadik and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was, even in their tough situation, they constantly had emunah and bitachon in Hashem. I'll be out of here soon. I'll make the best of this situation. I'm gonna just live with the current matzav and not get depressed and not lose my mind and that's how they came out over a decade later, 100% intact. So now when we're talking about in-laws, I don't want to see him, I don't want to see her. Shabbat, Yom Tov, what are we telling you? Live with them for 365 days a year? You have one weekend where you may have to sleep over if they're far away, or you may have to eat for 2 or 3 hours. If you tell yourself, you know what, I'm being Mikayim the Mitzav Kibud Avaim, I'm respecting my husband's parents, I'm respecting my wife's parents, I'll be there for 2 or 3 hours, I'll smile, I'll eat, wow, delicious, bachsh, osh pola, whatever it may be, and then move on to your home afterwards. You know, you're saving yourself so many heartaches. You're saving so many shalom bayit issues. It's all a matter of perspective. What's the worst they could do? They could comment on your shirt. They don't like your shirt. Your kids may be running around too much. Yeah, they're wrong. And your husband or your wife should always take your side, no question about it. But to make a cherem, excommunicate each other's families, I don't recall of any cases where you came out victorious. Usually everyone comes out a loser, chas v'shalom. Again, there are situations, like I said, if you have a professional saying, listen, you must cut off, you have to cut off. But 99% of the time, it's a matter of just telling yourself, you know what, I can handle it, I'll go there, I'll smile, I'll take the compliments, and I'll ignore the criticism, and you'll see the shalom bayit that you have with your husband. And what your children see afterwards, where you're not bad-mouthing their grandparents, it's going to take you a very, very long way in the future.